Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. I got the IROC Z back in here, 1990, and I'm working on this 4L80. I just got the Transgo HD2 kit put in it yesterday. Just threw the filter on. I gotta clean up the pan, get it thrown on. Might shoot a coat of paint on this, make it look a little better, and then we'll get ready to mate it to the engine right there and get it swung in here tonight. Well, time got away from us. Anyways, the engine's in. Sorry, we got ahead. All we did was took the tranny. I got the filter and pan back on it. Shot it with some, you can kind of see it's like silvery. It's a metal paint. Shot it with some paint. Filled the torque converter up with oil. Slipped it in. And while it was sitting right there on the edge of the bench, we just lifted the engine up, mated them there, hooked up torque converter bolts. Problem. Torque converter bolts bolt up just fine, but the flex plate, I wasn't even thinking. Here when I bought the torque converter, I thought it was going to have a long enough snout to go into the crank. Flex plate spacing between the torque converter was perfect, but there's no hole, or sorry, the snout's not resting in the back of the crank on the 5.3. So I'm gonna have to drop all that back out or pull the motor, one or the other. Haven't decided yet. I gotta change that all. I ordered a new flex plate and a new adapter, new bolts. This is an SFI rated one too, which sucks because this is like a high-end one. But yeah, anyway, so we'll get that dealt with. But in the meantime, I'm gonna start with getting lines plumbed into my catch can. There's one port from the Motion Raceworks system there, then one on the other side, so I'll route that one up and over here as well, so it can breathe really good through that. I got a fuse box mounted. I got these headers just dropped in place, held in with 2 bolts in the front and back. I got a Motion Raceworks throttle cable system hooked up. It's all done. I got this ICT power steering pump bracket and alternator on here, so that works out really good. Plenty of clearance down there. But yeah, so in the meantime, I got to work on getting those lines built and hooked up. And then we got to tighten up motor mount bolts. I have to get brackets put on the valve covers. You can see them bolt holes there. I got some Motion Raceworks brackets for the coils. So I'll get them all mounted up. And I'll have to find a rubber hose to tie the return of the power steering. I'll have to buy a new hose for the steer box to the pump. But then we can drill a hole down there, figure out where to mount the ECU under the dash, and we can get all this harness laid out, hooked up. All right, so I'm working on my first catch can hose. And I think that's how I'm gonna orient it, like that. And then the second one I'll get set up and ran over to this top port. All right, one done. I'll throw it on. Well, that should have plenty of flex in it. The engine shouldn't move too much. I got pretty good motor mounts down in there. They don't give too much, maybe 1/4 inch up here, maybe 1/2 inch, but anyways, yeah, that one's done. So I'll go ahead and figure out what I need to do for the other side. All right, this side is hooked up and routed over. to the catch can. Maybe if I can find another 90, I'll change this, because I'd like to have it tucked in a lot cleaner. But for now, that'll work. All right, next thing I did just to get it done real quick was put the heater bypass hose in. Got to loop that circuit or else you'll run hot. Clearly, I don't have heat or AC in this. All right, next thing I want to do real quick is get a fuel pressure regulator mounted somewhere over here and tie into these lines. Then I can jump over to the fuel rail and have my fuel all plumbed in. All right, got my fuel pressure regulator mounted right there. That's my supply, return, and vent. So I gotta pop these lines off, throw them away, and get some compression fittings, and then build some hoses. All right, so I use a tubing cutter, cut off the flared ends so I can get the fittings off. And I'll use this style fitting, which is a compression to 6 JIC, or 6 AN I mean. So I'll go hook them up on each one of them fittings. Returns this bottom, that'll go to the small one. Supply, I'm gonna run and loop up here, and then the supply to the engine, I'll leave out the back and I'll go up to the rail, which I got this quick connect, which I have two different styles. I got this style that clips on, or I can also use a quick connect, but it slides on with a little jam nut. I'm gonna try this. I've used them before, works good. So I'll go ahead and put these on, then I can start making some lines. All right, got the quick connect on. Back there is simple. Got my two 6 AN compression fittings on right here. So now it's just build some short lines to tie into the regulator. All right, and like that, we got our supply and return tied into the regulator. I just have to build a line that goes to the back of the rail. All right, now the supply to the rail is hooked up. I'll have to go back in there and zip tie it up in a couple spots and do a clamp, secure it, but other than that, I think that'll work just fine and dandy. That's gonna wrap up my night on the Camaro. Gosh, hopefully tomorrow night I can make a little more progress. I mean, I made a lot of progress just getting the motor in. Transmission, I gotta get a transmission mount underneath and get the cross member built. The one that I had did not work. Had to modify it, so I cut it up. I'll re-weld it back together. I need to punch a hole in down here so my computer system can go into the cab, tie in the harness, mount a radiator, mount a battery, coolant hoses, and lots of electrical wiring and whatnot to simplify a bunch of this and clean it all up. So thanks for watching. If you want to see more on this build of this 90 Camaro that is well patinaed, I mean, that thing looks better than most 40s, 50s vehicles. But anyways, it's just a fun little car that I'm going to drive around that looks like a piece of crap that maybe has some snort. But thanks for watching.